What's up, YouTubers? I'm here. Forget the name. It's a local cafe here. Anyways, yesterday I saw an article on Mexico and on the new president of Mexico, AMLO. Anyways, there's a business article criticizing his tax policy. Apparently, their Congress or their legislative body there, through the president, enacted some laws that are very restrictive on taxes. In other words, they're raising taxes and making it excuse me, harder to cheat on your taxes in Mexico. I'm a little skeptical of that claim, but what I do know is in this article it was claiming that people, large businesses and medium businesses, they won't issue facturas because they're just taking in cash and cheating on their tax. One thing I am aware of is that if you are buying stuff in Mexico City, like say you're buying cheap trinkets from China up in Mexico City, anyways, the business people up there just won't give you a factura. So like if you buy $5,000 or $10,000 worth of product, and then you bring it across the river there, I forget what the river is, but I usually cross in through San Cristobal. I forget the border crossing there, but there's a river there, and partly why you see people bringing stuff across the raft is you can't go to the aduana normally without those receipts, because then they don't know what to tax you. And despite the fact that you ask for or want facturas so you can pay whatever tax, business people there in Mexico City, they won't give them to you. So it's kind of funny, I was reading that article knowing that the reality is when you bring this stuff across the border, this article wasn't specifically on trade between Guatemala and Mexico, but the point was you can't, a lot of business people won't give you facturas, and in other words, people are cheating. And now they're cracking down on that and trying to put people into jail and having longer jail sentences. And believe it or not, recently they enacted asset forfeiture laws similar to the US. So they can take your property, whether it's related to a drug crime, an oil crime, people steal the oil there, almost any crime, including tax evasion. So it is partly why you see more and more Mexican, middle-class Mexicans leaving Mexico, going up to the States or coming down here, migrating down here and setting up businesses and stuff like that. Anyways, I just thought of that when I was reading this article, because when you cross over into Guatemala, it's a pain in the neck if you're an entrepreneur or business person and you're importing stuff from Mexico, because most of the time the Mexican business people won't give you a factura. So then when you go to the aduana, you still got to go through the aduana, but you just make a deal with them. I won't say how that is, but supposedly they crack down on fake facturas, but my opinion is that's not exactly accurate. Anyways, because you can't get real facturas from Mexico, you have to do something and come to an understanding or agreement with the local aduana to bring your stuff in through Mexico, or through Mexico into Guatemala. Incidentally, it kind of reminds me of, my impression is the Dark Ages or Middle Ages of Europe, where the rivers, where every little state on the river charged you a little tax. That's kind of how the highway system works in Mexico. There's like law enforcement or mafia type people stopping you, charging you a little bit for whatever you have in your trailer or your van or your car or whatever shipping arrangements you've made. And it doesn't end once you get across the border, because once you get into Guatemala, there's people waiting to charge you for, whatever you're taking across the border. Anyways, I just wanted to make a short video on how even in Mexico, Mexican business people are starting to, I don't want to say flee, but diversify their portfolio of assets into the US, Guatemala, everywhere else for that matter. And AMLO's crackdown on tax evasion and stuff like that doesn't appear to be making friends with people. And now that he's copied US style asset forfeiture, I think things get really ugly there. So my opinion is, if you have assets there, especially visible assets, as soon as you can, ship them out. That's what I would do. It's just not safe there anymore, because the way things work there, people can accuse you of anything they want. They don't have to prove anything, And now with these new asset forfeiture laws, they can just take your property. And if the worst they can do is take your car and your cash, then that's not so bad. But if you have a house or if you have a brick and mortar business that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, that would really suck. And now there's every reason for the authorities to do this. So it's basically the Mexican government, relies on Mexican or oil assets primarily. They get their revenue primarily through oil, and their oil assets have been declining. So there's going to be every incentive for them to, I hate to say cheat the system, but find anyone that can, including foreigners who own businesses there. Anyways, this is just my thought on that article. And then the other thing was that yesterday or a couple days ago, AMLO commented on Chapo's sons. There's some confusion on who got arrested, who didn't, who escaped, or who was let go. But what they're saying is they let him go. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't think the authorities are really going to say what the real truth of the matter is. But things are really becoming unglued there. So I would not be driving to Mexico, not in that part of Mexico anyways. If you're talking like Chiapas or the eastern part of the country, like Cancun, Quintana Roo, that's a little different. But up there, there's all these new, AMLO introduced this new thing where there's this new state apparatus separate from the military, but it's just really former police, former army officers who are in this new thing where they're cracking down on the cartels, cracking down on immigration. But anyways, they put up roadblocks and shake people down. A few of them already killed a few gringos up north. So I don't want to comment too much, but stuff like that is happening. So that's why I wouldn't drive. And under no circumstances would I own visible assets. Anyways, I'm going to shut this video off because it takes a long time to release videos. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If you do business in Mexico, leave a comment. Anyways, bye.